this figure would have came highly recommended if you could find her for a normal price. The problem is you can't. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, today with an old figure review, though I'm not sure if something released around mid-2018 should be considered as old. It has been 6 years though, time flies. So we are looking at Alta's 1/7 scale Matsuura Kanan wetsuit version from Love Life Sunshine. Came out sometime in year 2018 for 12,800 yen before taxes or shipping. And at this scale, the height of this figure would be around 23.5 centimeters including the base. Yeah, anime girls are short after all. I myself am not a big fan of Love Life at all. I was just riding the hype train back then. It was the hottest thing back in the mid and late 2010s. So I bought a few of the figures, just a few, not the entire cast. But this Kanan figure shot up to the top of being one of my favorites despite being a very simple figure. Solely for two very simple reasons. Number one, there are very few anime figures out there that wears a diving suit. And this is just one of very few. There are a few out there. The one I remember best was, I think Skytube had a figure, an edgy figure where the character is wearing bikini and also a diving tank. But other than that, there are not many wetsuit figures out there. And the second thing is that this simple pose over here makes her very photogenic from the perspective of a photographer. I feel like I'm looking at a model undressing herself, and at that very moment, that candid moment, you took a few shots. Like, a model for the cover of a magazine, it feels that way to me. And that inspired me to come up with this photograph over here, which went on to win Picture of the Month, one of my 15 gold badges in MFC. So it was among my best photography works back then. So when I feel inspired, I see something that I really like, I can cook up something really nice with the anime figure when it comes to photography. Nowadays, motivation is a bit of an issue though for me to do stuff like that, but I would love to get back to shooting figures that way. As for the packaging of this figure, nothing special. Your good old transparent box, which is known among Alta figures, and there is no assembly other than plugging a figure into the base. One single square metal foot peg on her left foot over here, and the base, while a little bit boring, it works, right? This is a low budget figure, so I don't feel like knocking Alta too much for the kind of base I'm getting over here. This feels more like a swimsuit version of an anime figure. Yeah, and Alta had a series of swimsuit version Love Life figures back then, so this is probably just one of them. Something a little bit more different than usual. And given the lightweightness of this figure, yeah, there is no wobble of any kind when you shake the figure. Well, there is a bit of it actually, but why would you do that, right? Overall, I don't see leaning as an issue for this figure, even though only one foot is plugged into the base, because the weight distribution is quite balanced. Now, moving on to the sculpting of this figure, it is not the most detailed thing in the world, but at the same time, it was the exact pose and the way where she is removing her wetsuit, which appeals to me so much. It feels like a striptease in a way, one that is tastefully done, and because of that, now my photographic eye just kind of clicked. We are not supposed to see a lot of details on swimsuit in general, but the pose, it just works, right? And moving on to the face, Alta is known to be really good with the faces of anime figures. No issues over here for a figure that came out 6-7 years ago. In fact, back in the mid to late 2010s, that was kind of like the golden era of Alta figures, where their quality control is pretty much impeccable. Can't say the same today. So with the face sculpt of this figure together with the rest of the figure, this is an easy 9 out of 10. In terms of sculpt detail. The only reason why she did not get a higher score is because this is a very simple figure. She needs more details to get a higher score, not because the figure is bad itself. Moving on to the paintwork, given that this is a simple figure without much to see, both front and back, so what Alta did to make the figure appear more attractive is to do a very heavy dose of shading on the figure. Like you can see a lot of mid and dark tones of blue color, both on her suit and on her hair. And just with this very simple touch on the way they paint the figure, This turns out to be a very attractive looking scale figure at 13,000 yen. Surely if this was a 13,000 yen figure earlier this year, then everyone would be wow, right? But a figure like this, if she were to be released in year 2024, 2025, then this would be an 18,000 yen figure at the bare minimum. Yeah. Paintwork is precise and nicely done, not a single hint of quality control issues, no paint bleeding, no paint scratches, no paint transfer or anything related to QC issues for the matter, no ugly seam lines or glue stains either. So Alter was the kind of figure company which could execute a figure to perfection, and they don't cut corners even though that is supposed to be something budget. Some figure brands, when they make something cheap, they cut corners, and then the QC is affected. They only focus their full effort on the expensive ones. Not the case for Alter, at least that was the case back then, where regardless the figure is 13,000 yen or 25,000 yen, they just make sure the figure is done right. And for that reason alone, this figure would have came highly recommended if you could find her for a normal price. The problem is you can't. If you could find this figure on Ami, and that is pre-owned section by the way, you're expecting to see 25 to 30,000 yen for one. And at the time of recording, I saw a listing on animota.net. I think I'm not familiar with the website. They are asking for 49,000 yen. What the heck? Please do not pay 49k or even 30k for this thing. Please don't. 20,000 yen is the max I would do. Maybe I'm just being a cheapskate, but for something this plain and simple and the detail level is not very high, I'm unwilling to part a large amount of money for a figure like this. I would rather just give up, and buy something newer. So until then, if you found this review to be sort of helpful or informative, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. Until then, I'll see you guys again very soon. Thanks for watching and goodbye.